Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, AV community. We are back with another podcast episode. My name's Adrian. I'll let the rest of the team say hey.
Hey guys, it's Tamara.
Hey, it's John. Ya tú sabes.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Susan.
We're just going to jump right into it. John's going to go ahead and do a little icebreaker. So, John, go ahead and take that away and start it off for us.
All right, guys. What's your favorite Starbucks drink? Like your go-to every morning. Like what's your poison?
Holiday season or not holiday season?
Uh,
Or just in general?
it could just be in general. You could. I mean, feel free to throw in a holiday drink since it's that time, right? So.
Well, during the holidays, I always go for the pumpkin whatevers. I try mostly all of them. I like pumpkin, but typically it'd be a matcha chai or a chai matcha. Either way.
Isn't it the same thing?
No, it's not.
No, it's
Okay,
not.
okay.
It's very different.
It's the same. You just flip the words.
Well, see, if I order a matcha chai, it's a matcha drink and then with pumps of chai. Or if I order a chai matcha, it's chai with a few pumps of matcha. It tastes different.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
Honestly.
No, okay.
Like,
it
that's how
is.
they
It
get
is
you.
super different.
It does taste different. Because with matcha, it's more bitter, and then the chai adds a little bit of like sweetness to it, depending on how many pumps you do. And then the chai is always sweet, in my opinion. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah.
So, which one out of the two do you pick more?
Matcha with chai. Because I like the little bitterness.
The taste.
That's weird.
Exquisite.
Yes.
Sounds good. Gotta try it one of these days. I'd have to say I always either go with a pink drink or dragon drink, but I guess when it comes to the holiday drinks, the sugar cookie is my go-to for holiday drinks.
Yeah, I really like that sugar cookie. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a little bitter sometimes if you know what you're ordering,
Yeah.
and then either that or caramel macchiato. That's my
Okay.
safe go-to as well.
That's like I don't know what I want right now. I'll just get what I grew up knowing.
I don't know what I want right now.
Felt that one.
As a barista, John, out us. What is yours? What does our drink say about us?
He's going to pull some secret menu stuff and be like, this is what I get.
Well, no, actually, I'm pretty basic with it. I just get a matcha. I get a matcha with oat milk, and then when they had raspberry syrup, I did raspberry syrup. Now I just do classic,
Nice. That sounds good.
unless I carry my own raspberry with me.
Oh, in the summertime, I forgot to say, I usually do the matcha strawberry. That one is, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, anything with matcha, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, matcha pumpkin too. Delicious.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why are you
Some
laughing?
weird drinks, man.
It's just a hater.
Okay. Well, it's because matcha is different. Like it's a different type of caffeine.
I don't even know what.
So
that
like
is.
regular coffee will get me all jittery and I'll be like anxious like all throughout my day. Cause it's like, so coffee can actually trigger your anxiety is what I've heard. I don't actually study these things, so I don't know, but like Twitter's a reliable source to me. So
Twitter is not a reliable source.
Like TikTok.
I was about to say that. Don't start saying it's a reliable source. Then people he said it's a reliable source. We don't need that.
You're gonna have us
That's-
canceled.
yeah, never mind.
For the record, Twitter is not a reliable source.
Disclaimer.
So yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, matcha is like different. It's a different type of caffeine that it's just like more to like keep you focused throughout the day, but it doesn't give you like jitters. So yeah.
It's from the green tea family. Just concentrated.
Hate teas. That's disgusting. I hate tea. I hate
What do you
coffee.
get, Adrian?
Strawberry lemonade. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Nothing else.
Nope.
No
And a sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich. That's it.
sausage, egg, and
I don't drink.
Okay.
I don't drink drinks. I don't. But lemonades, I'll do. I'll do lemonade. Oh, lemonade sounds so good right now. But yeah, I mean, so today we're talking about first jobs experience or just overall.
I think like just overall.
Yeah.
Like
I want to talk about my first job. I'm just kidding.
Take it away, John.
Let me
Do we
find
actually
out.
like say the company or like should we just like
No.
No,
right?
don't.
Just
No.
say
Yeah.
your experience.
Well, I mean, if it's like, for example, mine was Toys R Us and it's closed now. At least the one here. So I'll say mine.
I mean, I don't know.
I just don't say names.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you could say if it's not too bad, right? I mean,
You can just say like the line of work, whether it's retail,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
fast
you
food.
can.
Okay.
I say let's stick to that instead of name dropping.
Toys R Us. Okay, go, John.
Right. So my first job, I worked in a clothing store at the mall.
Forever 21.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So retail.
I
is what I'm
applied there
hearing.
and I didn't go to the interview.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, retail.
All right, retail. What was your experience like?
Okay. I mean, I think it's just like it's wild. You go into it and it's like everything's super chill. You like sometimes you hardly do anything. And then like sometimes I'd be there and I'd just be like, "Can I go home? Like you don't actually need me here."
Mm.
And then there'd be other nights where I'm just like, "Wait, you expect me to do all this by myself?" Okay.
At what age did you get your first job?
I started like at like I don't know because I was still in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Did you have like the worker's permit?
yeah, because it was through like my first job was through like a program where like the school helped me get the job because it was for like work experience or something. So it's like, yeah,
That's kind of cool.
I'm like, what school did you go to, man?
I think the high school, well, at least what I remember, had that like a similar program, but because I had really bad grades, I couldn't do it. So kudos to you. So that's cool.
yeah.
I wish I got a job through my high school. It would have
Yeah,
made
me
things a lot
too.
easier.
Honestly,
Like, that's crazy. I'm so like,
wish we could go back in time, make my grades better.
My first job was also through high school. We had a program, but it was called the Health Careers Academy. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was good. I mean, yeah. So it's for people who want to like pursue something in medicine.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we all saw how that turned out. I'm like, I'm not going to medical school. So I mean, long story short, I guess. I mean, it was okay, but it was a lot of pressure, and definitely it was an experience because as the intern that's unpaid at the age of 17,
Mm-hmm.
they just kind of leave everything to you. So you have to do all this work. And, you know, sometimes it's just you make mistakes because no one really trains you. And I feel like maybe that was a flaw.
So you were working like in the clinic or like where?
Yeah, it was a clinic. We got to choose our sites. So, and I picked optometry, which I feel like if I picked something that actually involved in the hospital setting, it would be different. But as an optometry, they didn't really let me do much because of my limited scope of practice.
Right.
So I was always in the back doing archives, and sometimes they would pile up the day I walk in, and like there's like 50 stacks, and
That's crazy.
yeah, I would have to sort glasses, or it was interesting. But yeah, I would say obviously I'm not into medical school anymore. I'm here with you guys, and I love this so much more. So I found out. I mean, you find out early if you like it or not, and you just go with the flow.
I think that's cool. Like if high schools do that, like so you can kind of see where you want to go and gravitate to. That's definitely what high school should be doing. Because, I mean, a lot of the things that they teach us, I feel, sometimes it's hard to correlate unless you have that interest in it. So
I agree.
that's so cool. I'm jealous.
I
Okay.
know, look, I'm like, my high school didn't care. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, go, Adrian.
Sure. I was in the fast food. I've been in fast food until I got here. I don't like. I want to name drop so bad so they don't get bit. No, I'm just kidding. No, my first job, I wanted to make money. So I was like, oh, I'm all excited. But I was only working like 3 hours a week,
How old were you when you started?
like 16, 17.
Dang, you guys started young.
Yeah, when you said worker's permit, I'm like, what's that? Like they didn't ask me for one. I was just like pulled up. No, but I worked there for like 2 or 3 months, and then I quit over the phone because like I called. I was like, "Hey, I'm not on the schedule. Like, am I working?" They're like, "No, we don't need you this week." I'm like, "Okay, I quit." Then I placed the order for pickup, and I'm like, "I'll see you soon." But nah, I mean, I consider like my second job, my first job, because that's where I really had like a lot of hours and stuff like that. And I was like, ding.
But it was still fast food.
I worked in 3 different fast food chains.
Were they all the same, like cuisines, or
No,
no,
3 different ones.
like with like burgers or tacos, Asian food?
It was pizza,
Mm.
and then burgers, and then fast food, Mexican food, and then back to burgers,
Dang.
and then now I'm here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's one thing good you can say about it, though?
One thing good, it taught me like cooking skills
Yeah.
because I was on the grill. Well, I was taking orders first time, and then I was making. I mean, I already said pizza, so I was making the pizzas my first job. Second job, I was taking orders and stuff like that. Third job, I was making the orders and then making the chips, and then now I went to grill, and then I went back to the burger spot.
That always interests me. I always see like TikTok of like people cleaning their stations and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I wonder if I would have been cut out for it. I don't know. I can't tell. I don't really like to cook, guys.
I think for me it was fun because my brother worked there, so I was like, "What's up?" But then it's different working with your sibling and then being siblings, because then I'm like, "Bro, like I'm your brother. Like, shut up." Like,
You know,
then I had to remember that he's higher than me. I'm like, "Yeah, you're right."
there's something about always somehow working or being in school with your like relatives that's just either a good thing or a bad thing. And for me, it was always like a mix of both of them. Especially because growing up, I was like the only girl with all the boys. So like, you could just imagine how that went.
I was the youngest, so just imagine 2 towers walking in, and they're like, "Oh, there's another one." I'm like, "Yeah." But it worked out because we all kind of looked the same, and we all had A's in our names. So I'm like, if I'm trying to just leave, don't do what I'm doing. But I was like, "Oh, I'm him," and then they're like, "Okay, cool, you're good," because he was a senior, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm him."
That's so funny.
But yeah, those are my jobs. It was dope though. I would say the Mexican food one was fun, annoying but fun, because I was working with my brother, made some friends there, and then I was like, nah, and then too much happened, and then I left. I was about to name drop, so I had to catch myself. Nah, but I went back to the burger spot because they offered me more, and I'm like, okay, cool. But that was a mistake too, and then now I'm here.
Well, that's cool. My first experience, if you guys remember, I I name dropped. I guess that falls under retail, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
retail.
Yeah.
I'm like, that
Right?
was the main retail for a while.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I can say that like there was a lot of things that were really bad about the place. Things that I'm really actually happy I got out before like legal stuff started happening there. Overall, I think my shifts ranged from like full shifts, half shifts to like freaking 2 hours on like really, really slow days. And then I remember one time they were just like, okay, there's nothing going on. We don't need like 3 people. You want to go home? And I was like,
You're like,
yes.
say less.
I was like, I'll go. But I think for the most part, I had fun because I enjoyed helping people and fixing shelves and things like that. So it was fun for me until I started having like little things that bothered me, and I was like, okay, this is not okay at all. So it was a it was a good experience overall because it made me see what I should and should not expect from like places and like settling or allowing certain things to happen to yourself or to other people. So
That's dope.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we talked about experiences for like first job, but what was your guys' experience for like your first job interview? like building up to it? Like, were you nervous? Did you go get an outfit? Were you just like full send it? I'm just gonna walk in there and see if I get it. Like, what was that like?
I for sure went to go buy a whole new outfit. I did my makeup, my hair, everything. I was like, okay, I'm ready. And I had like a super business type outfit too, like black pants, the freaking, what is it called? The blazer. And yeah, I looked like a businesswoman. I even had like a little briefcase where
Like,
I had
do you know what position you're applying for?
I was like, for your job. Yeah, I actually got the job the first day.
That's dope.
They had about, because it was during the seasonal time that it started, and there's like maybe like 15 of us all in the break room just sitting there waiting for our turns and stuff. I was so nervous. I just remember just sitting there like, okay, this is going bad. And then a couple people left, and so I was like, okay, like maybe they're just like gonna choose, I don't know, like. And then I remember this one girl came out and she was like, this was so dumb, and they're like, good luck. And I was like, oh my gosh, like. So then when it was my turn, they did I don't remember what questions they did. I think it's just like your basic questions, like, have you ever worked here before or worked in a setting like this before? Like, what do you want to do with this career type of thing? I think I was like 18, maybe 19 when I did that job. So I was like, I mean, I just want experience. But yeah, they were like, oh, we really like you. Just wait out in the front and we'll call you back in a minute. You got the job. And I was like, what? No way. Oh my God. Yeah. And then, yeah. I think out of like all those 15, 20 people, they only picked like 5. Yeah. So I was super happy.
She's like, I'm special.
Yeah. So I don't know. What about you guys?
My first job interview, I had a whole support system. I had my mom, dad, and my sister waiting in the car.
Aw.
But yeah, I went in there and I was definitely a little more nervous than I needed to be, because obviously like the school had already like talked me up. So I got in there and I was a little nervous. I was asking these questions and then she was like, "Can we just be so for real right now?" She's like, this is a formality, right? Like they've already talked you up, like you're good, like you don't have to be nervous. Like, I was like, oh. So, but yeah. But I mean, it was like, I think it was like a seasonal thing. So it's like after that season, it was like on my work ethic if I got kept on.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I still feel like this has nothing to do with me. And
listen,
because
what happened was
I didn't get kept on the first season, but they called me back for the next season. So I was like, I couldn't have been that bad.
I mean, yeah, I get that. What about you, Tamara?
I remember I borrowed my mom's suit and it was a little big on me. So as I was trotting, because they were doing interview like sessions, and one of the teachers had to do it. That was like my very first time, but all the other times was kind of similar, but more easier to do. So I was a mess that day. I was running around and I lost my blazer. And I don't know where it was. And my classmate let me borrow her blazer. And so when it came time for my interview, it went smoother than I thought it was, because it was interesting. I was nervous. I stuttered a lot, but I went through with it. So, I mean, I guess like breathing exercises really help. So I was like breathing and just shaking the jitters off, and it was different. But yeah, that was my first time. And I was a mess. So, and it was windy day, so it didn't go well, but
but you're like, I got the job. That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know, my job I was nervous, as like everyone should be, but I remember telling myself, I'm like, I was about to name drop again, because it's like when you tell a story, you feel like you have to tell it, and I'm like, no. But the place I was going to wasn't like I'm like, I'm going jeans and a t-shirt. Like, what's the big deal? And I was like, no, you need to get dressed up. So So she made me an outfit. And she's like, "You're gonna wear this, and you're gonna go in there." And I remember I walked in thinking, "Oh, they have like an office." No, they just popped open a little step stool and like, "Oh, have a seat." And then she's standing there. I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is weird." And she's like, "No, okay, I just need a copy of this, and this, and yeah, you're good. We'll start you soon." I was like, "Okay." So I feel like I didn't really have job interviews because everywhere I went, I knew someone in there already. So it was more like them vouching for me, and they're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
It was weird. It was very weird.
Interesting. Okay. So would you say this job was like your first like interviewing kind of thing? Okay. Now, big question. What is the question that always kind of like dumbfounds you? Is that how you say the word? Like it makes
makes you dumbfounded.
Yeah, thank you. Like you're just like, I don't know. In the interview process.
The tell me about yourself one.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess so. Why?
Just because I feel like I know like they need to know like who you are, but at the same time it's like
how do you start it? Like I'm 20-something years old and I live here and here and here.
Well, like that and it's like I'm a person that doesn't like sharing like that, so I'm like I kind of say what like does I kind of need to know, not like because I feel like there's people that will tell you their whole life story and like, oh, I've been here, there, here. I'm like, no. I'm just like,
I get that.
I feel like I've only been asked that once though. I don't think they asked me that here.
They did to me, but at least for the first position that I came into, they said, "Tell us a little bit about yourself," and I was like,
I don't even remember.
What do you want to know? Yeah, I don't really like that question either because I feel like there's like, how do you really even answer it?
Yeah, it's like, I'm me. Like that's all. That's always my response. I'm like, I mean, I'm me. I don't know what to say.
Like, what would you guys say? Like, how to answer it?
See, I always just like, well, at the time since I was in school, I always just like use that spiel. Like, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to school for, or this is what I just graduated for. And now that I'm like, I think almost 6 months out, I'm just like, oh, I can't use that anymore. Like that experience, I don't think can define me anymore. So
I think that's a good one, like using your school or maybe your previous job or something like to explain a little bit about yourself or like what your passion is.
Yeah.
Depending on the job title, I think you should go like
that route
and like, oh, I'd love to do community work or something, you know? I do, to say.
I was about to say, what do you mean?
I do. Any other questions that you guys don't always feel weird about?
Trying to remember. I'm like, it's been a while.
Mine's is what is your biggest weakness?
Yes.
I don't like that question.
Yeah.
I'm just like
Just like working on a team. No, I'm just
that actually was a big struggle of mine in the very beginning. I'm not gonna lie, because it was just me in my first position, and then I was like had to share like I guess projects, right? I think Adrian can relate with me. We were both kind of like,
solo,
I mean,
solo.
I could do this by myself. I really don't need help, but it's fun. I like sharing now. You guys could do all the work. Just give me.
She's like, before I would do it. Now it's like, you guys do it.
But no, back to the weakness thing. I was actually kind of helping someone do a practice interview, and that was one of the questions. And we were trying to figure out ways like to make it sound like it's not a bad thing that that's your weakness, but it's also like a good thing that's your weakness. Yeah. One of the things we said was, let's say you're super into detail, right? So my biggest weakness I could say is like that I'm super detail oriented because I like to make sure my work is done well, blah, 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 blah. And it could also cause me stress and make me feel like I haven't done the work well, but in reality it's more than sufficient to other people or whatever. But that could also be like my strength because I'm super detail oriented. I want to make sure that it's done the correct way or whatever. So it was like kind of like going back and forth thinking like, okay, how can we answer it where it doesn't make you look bad, but it makes you look good at the same time?
I feel like everyone's advice is always answer your weakness with this strength.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my weakness is like I always want to be hands-on. But that's because I don't want to feel like I'm control. Like always spin it to where it's like, that like something positive out of your weakness. So they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, you never want to make it. But then I feel like you have to be careful, though, because they're like, when we were doing this, someone else said, you could say that you're super like trustworthy person. And I feel like that one's kind of tricky, because if you're saying like your weakness is that you're trustworthy, like, I don't know. I feel like it can go both, like, it could go badly.
Your wording is very important.
Yeah.
Like how you say it. I feel like they asked me this question. I was like, my anxiety. I think that's all I said. I swear I remember that. Because I was all choked up. I was like,
When I said that the first time, I said my biggest weakness was not knowing the culture of the organization or like your policies, not really knowing what the job entails. But I'm more than, eager to learn everything. So I think that one was good. I don't know. What do you guys think?
no, that makes sense.
Yeah. But then I got like a backlash when we were doing this. They were like, "Oh no, because you're supposed to research the place. You're supposed to research the policies." I'm like,
Yeah.
like, I think all you should know is the job title, what it requires. Because in reality, I'm not gonna go in a like rabbit hole trying to figure out what this organization's about.
I feel like just Googling the organ, because that's what I did when I first started here.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know what AVPH is. So I Googled them.
Same.
And I was like, oh, easy.
I wrote down their mission statement just in case. I was like, okay, this is it. What's another question?
I'm not sure. Like, I feel like those two are the big ones that I've like feared. Literally, when I interviewed here, I was like practicing the weakness one like over and over again, and I don't even think you guys asked me it. So I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I think I don't even know how many people we had already interviewed before you.
Hey, you did the interviews, huh?
Yeah, I really gained experience doing that. So shout out to Melissa. Thank you for that opportunity. So it was fun because I got to see both sides of like being interviewed and being the interviewee. But yeah, I think I have your paper. My thoughts about John.
It's like a whole essay.
I think you did a really good one. Naomi did a very good one too. She actually interviewed us. I wish you could be here right now so I could ask her a question. But she was like, "Why should I work here with you guys?" And we're like,
"You're like, excuse me?
Do you want the job?" No, just kidding. No, I feel like doing research is a very big thing when getting your jobs and trying to figure out the questions, studying them, even though they might not even be the questions they ask. Because, I mean, they could literally ask you, what's your favorite dog? And you'd be like,
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, you do bring up a good point of like flipping it. Because always at the end, like, oh, do you have any questions for us? You can always stand out and like rattle off just 3 questions. And then they're going to be like, oh, like he really is interested. Besides saying like, no, I'm okay, like all nervous and just walk out. So I will say that. Always ask questions, even if it's something simple. You can even just be like, oh, like, what is your position here? Like, what do you do? Or like, how did you start here? Something like that. So they're like, oh, he's interested in learning.
Or like even asking like, is there a way to move up on the what is it, leaderboard, or I don't know what it's called. Not leaderboard, but you know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, like
the ladder.
Yeah.
There you go. Moving up the ladder is how feasible is it to move up in this organization? Because then I feel like, oh, okay, they want to be here long term rather than like, I just need a job, you know? Yeah.
I always ask about the uniform. I'm like, is there like a specific uniform that I have to dress or wear?
I'm so happy.
That's my go-to.
No.
Yeah, I had to do a uniform in the job previously. Ugh, it was so annoying. I had to like rewash the shirt.
Yeah.
These are good ones, guys.
This is good.
Yeah.
If there was any tips that you could give your younger selves, like about going into like the workforce, like what would you tell your younger self?
Stay positive. Because I remember seeing my first check and I was like, I worked hard for this. Like I didn't realistically, because high school doesn't really talk to you about taxes. You don't really never see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, your parents can do like, oh, here's your allowance, but here I'm taking $5. Like they can do little things like that.
Yeah.
But you don't see it until like the paper check, and you're like, I worked this many hours, and like you try to do the math in your head and like.
They're like, why are they taking that away?
And
Yeah,
it's not really explained. And I remember for me, I was all like devastated. I'm like, I have a check for like $100, and I thought like my math said it was gonna be like $230 or something,
Mm-hmm.
or just in
felt that.
general, like don't let customers get you down.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of negative with customers, but there is like relationships you can build with them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one guy always came in the morning. We always had his stuff ready, like how he liked it. He was the dopest customer ever.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've always wanted to be one of those customers. Can I have my regular, please? And they'd be like, yeah, I know. Like, I know what it is.
then it's shocking when they change it up. You're like, oh, how could you?
Oh, I don't buy out to be one of those. But
I used to. It was embarrassing.
I totally agree with you on that, though, that I feel like high schools really need to incorporate, even middle school, incorporate like savings and taxes, like how they take away, what they take away, the California and the state or whatever it is called. Because I remember that too. I remember getting my first check and I'm like, wait, what?
Exactly.
Why are they taking this much away? Like, why? Like, I don't have kids. I don't have dependents. And like, so yeah, that would be something to kind of just be on the lookout. Like growing up, it's tough and there's curveballs all the time, especially financially tough nowadays. If you know anywhere around, like ABPH does financial literacy, if you're interested, you can always reach out to the ABPH phone number and see how they can refer you.
We should get them on the podcast.
Right?
Do a whole.
Another one, because we did credit cards with Jeanette.
Yeah, we did like credit and credit cards with her, but we should do like taxes.
Yeah, definitely, because it's definitely something to. I still don't even do my taxes, guys. I don't do them myself.
I was about to say, what do you mean?
I don't do them myself. I've like read, even when I see the W-2, I'm like, okay, honey, this is for you.
I just look at it and pay someone to do it for me. But that's what I'm saying. People like they don't really teach you those things,
Yeah.
and it's like, what are we talking about? Taxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doing the taxes.
We need to do a taxes episode.
Yeah. Or at least maybe going back to like our pay stubs, like what each what is it, withdrawal means or whatever.
I still don't know.
I don't know.
I
either.
get direct deposit. I don't even look at pay stubs.
Honestly.
I'm just like, how many hours this week? Okay, it should be like
About this much.
Yeah, I'm like, as long as it's around there, we're good.
And it changes for everybody too, depending on who you claim as your dependents. How much are you asking for them to take off from your check too, so that you don't pay taxes later on, which is another thing I don't fully understand. But yeah, guys, I mean, I would tell myself, no job is worth your mental health, your self-worth, because at the end of the day, you're replaceable to them. They could hire someone else. They can tell you all these things about you, but don't let them treat you any less than what you are. You're worth your time. You're worth being there. And if they can't see that, just move on, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it for the money. I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, if they pay me this amount, like, I don't care if I'm miserable. Care. You need to care, because no amount of money is worth making you miserable. So just find something you love.
Yeah, I wish someone told me that, because to be honest, yeah, not in high school, but it was like the job after. But it was pretty bad. I mean, I was getting yelled at by my boss every single day because it's a clinic, right? You can't afford to mess up. So, and I wasn't trained properly. So there was a lot of things I didn't know how to do. And when I attempted to do it, there was one or two things that are off, but it was just a mess of things to do. And the pay was so little, and it just wasn't worth it in the end. And I wish someone would told me that, because I spent 3 months. And essentially, when I did leave that place, I found myself shivering, because I didn't know what I was going to do after that. I was a blank slate, because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. If I can't even go or handle a clinic, how am I going to go to medical school? And it was a mess. So yeah, for a while it was pretty bad, my mental health.
Yeah, I agree. I've had a couple of those where I would cry almost every time, just like, I can't do this anymore. And my supervisor would say, just wait, don't leave. Like, it'll all get better. And I'd be like, I can't do this no more. Because it just makes you feel real small. It makes you feel small. It makes you feel like you haven't tried your hardest to be there, regardless of what your life experience is or how old you are or where you've been, whatever. Like, I think everyone, regardless if they just started a new job or they've been working for like 20 something years, everyone brings something to the table. Things that we learn from each other. I've learned from you guys so much. So I don't think treating someone like because of whatever their age is or their life experiences is like, okay. So just that's my biggest advice, you know?
I agree.
I think, oh my God, I got a whole long list. So I was like,
I'm like, make
younger
one.
me,
Just one advice.
sit down. Okay. To start off with, labor laws. Learn your labor laws, because these places do not know them.
True.
And I was for a couple of years, I was a store manager, and I thought I was going to get trained on labor laws. They don't train you on those. My district manager didn't even know the labor laws. He'd be like, why are you putting in reporting pay? And I was like, because they showed up, but you told me to send them home before their 2-hour mark, so I have to pay them reporting pay, which I didn't know was a thing until I was a manager. So I was like, my first job, I should have been getting that reporting pay.
I don't even know what that is, but
so basically, I believe it's been a while since I've like dealt with it, but reporting pay is like, if you show up, like, let's say, like, my first job used to have me work like 3-hour shifts, and they'd send me home like within an hour. It was like less than half my shift. So technically they should have been paying me like reporting pay. I mean, like, you came, you weren't allowed to work half the shift.
oh, I get it. Okay.
You're entitled to like the rest of it type of thing. So there's that. And also, like, success is something that only you can define.
100%.
It's not attached to a monetary value, and it looks different for everybody. And you have to really know who you are and what you're worth, and you can't let a job define that for you, because you're a lot more than your position.
Oh, yeah. Agreed. I like that.
Anything else before we wrap up here?
Reach
Crickets.
for the star, guys. Reach for the stars.
No, I mean, this was a good episode. This was a good topic.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good job,
I mean,
John.
as you can see, we're going back to more
Tips and tricks.
educational-ish, advicey instead of more funsy, because Halloween's over. How's that?
No, I think we're always fun.
We're mixing it up.
Yes,
we're mixing
it up. Let us know. Do you guys like this? Right? What do you guys want to hear?
Or if you want to come on, if you want to be a part of the podcast, please
Share
let us know.
your experience. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, do you guys have anything else to add, or are we all good? All good? Yeah. So we'll wrap up there. We'll see you guys. I want to say next week. I'm trying to figure out when.
Next week.
Next week, yeah. Because Anyways, we'll wrap up there, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.